Happy Wednesday. I am so ready for this one. This one's called Self-Discipline. Doesn't get my little dance party in, but hope you're showing up here in just a moment and we will get ready to go. Let's see. Oh, looks like it's 6:30, so it's time to go. So tonight's training is positive success habits, same you, new mood, discipline. I'm your success habits integrator. My name is Cristy Limegrover, for those of you who may not know me. And I am really excited to jump into this one. We talked about motivation yesterday, and there is a difference between self-discipline and motivation. So motivation is how you're showing up for yourself and how you're kind of encouraging yourself to go. It's that vision, that picture of where you want to be in the future. But discipline is actually making that happen. It's taking those action steps and making sure you're showing up for yourself. And when you have self-discipline, really anything is achievable. You can accomplish your goals and your dreams, but with motivation, you're not going to quite get there because you're just excited and you're inspired. But discipline will take you to that next step. So discipline is doing what you know needs to be done right now. Hi. Discipline is knowing or doing what you need. I can't even speak. Okay. Discipline is doing what you know needs to be done right now, even if you don't want to do it to get the results that you actually want most. Trust me, I know it's definitely easier to sit on the couch, watch some Netflix, scroll your social media, eat the Oreos. Like, trust me, that's my favorite thing to do. But I have enough discipline where I tell myself, okay, I can have one Oreo and I'm going to sit on the floor and I'm going to watch Netflix and I'm going to stretch and do some yoga because I'm focusing on my net time, which if you haven't heard of net time, that's no extra time. So what that means is that we all have the same 1,440 minutes in a day, and you have to strive to make the most of every moment. So when I'm sitting and I'm watching Netflix and maybe I'm dunking my Oreos in the milk, I'm also stretching my splits because I want to be able to get to my splits. And I know that I don't have enough time in the day to do all these different things, but I'm going to motivate myself and have my own self-discipline to take me to that next level. That way people are wondering, well, how can you do all of this stuff? It's because I spend every moment making a difference in my own life. I'm showing up for myself to make myself so ready for that next step. I'm so excited. We have a guest of honor tonight. My grandma is in the house. Let's give some round of applause. Thank you for being here tonight, Nana. So I want you to know, when you have self-discipline, you are not allowing FOMO or OPO. So FOMO is fear of missing out, and OPO is other people's opinions. You're not letting that run your life. If you're letting that happen, you're spending too much time online at the end of the day because you're scrolling your social feed and all you want to do is make sure you're showing up with them. And you can't be in every place at every moment. You have to have self-discipline and know that you want to bring yourself to the next level. If you're trying to get validation from strangers, if you're trying to get validation from people who don't actually want to see you succeed, then you're not necessarily doing things right. You have to exercise courage and discipline. You have to go for what matters most to you. When you're sitting on your social media for, on average, per the studies, 144 minutes a day, you're wasting your time. Unless you're focusing on net time and maybe you're thinking you're doing stretching or you're running or you're doing something to be better for yourself. But I will tell you that you can get such high endorphin rushes just by working out, rather than looking for those hearts on Instagram or those thumbs up on Facebook. You can get endorphin rushes in other ways. And if you're focused on getting more hearts and more thumbs up, you're not really focused on yourself. You're focused on what other people are thinking about you. So a few examples of this might be that if you want to be able to lose, or if you want to be able to stretch and do the splits, it's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take dedication. If it's something that you really want, though, and you're not achieving that goal, you're the only one to blame for not getting there. Nobody else is in charge of your body. You're the only person that can make that happen. So a good way to make that happen is maybe you stretch for 5 minutes a day, and then you can watch the transformation, because over time, small, subtle success habit changes will make those dreams and goals a reality, right? I'm so excited. We've got so many people here tonight. I love the participation. Thank you, everybody, for saying hello. Another example of self-discipline is maybe you want to lose weight. Well, the first thing is that you need to set a SMART goal. Again, specific, measurable, achievable, retainable, and timely. You need to identify how much weight you want to lose and what time frame you're going to make that happen. You need to move your body. You need to get some exercise in. You need to have healthy eating habits. And simply put, you need to burn more calories than you're consuming, right? And it sounds simple, but it's not, and I understand that. And the reason it's not simple is because food tastes so good. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've expanded my horizon with my food intake, and I am a big fan of it. But it's also a social thing. So when you're out and about and you want to engage with other people, where do you go? You go and you eat food. But if you want to lose the weight, you have to focus on taking one less bite. You have to focus on drinking more water, reducing your calorie intake, so that way you are achieving that goal. When you are measuring that goal through your success habit tracker, you're also going to get more results, and then you can celebrate those results, because if you achieve your goal, you should celebrate, right? And you're going to be happy about it. So another example, we'll just jump into a new one, is if you want a new job, you have to learn a new skill or a trade to make you more valuable and qualified to take you to that next level. Employers aren't just going to give you a new job because you ask for it, but if you're showing up either to a job interview or in your current role and you're looking for a promotion and you want to get to the next level, you have to prove that you're ready to get to that next step. So Jim Rohn, as we talked about the other day, he said that formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. So I'm going to challenge you to start learning today. Start growing your mindset. Start learning that change is okay. Pick up that book, stretch your body, drink more water. These are the fundamentals of what I've been talking about this past week and a half, and achieve your goals and dreams, because you cannot get what you want unless you actually work for it. If you're not working hard to achieve your goals, who's going to try to bring you to that next level? You're in charge of your actions, you're in charge of the decisions you make, and you're in charge of your life. You have to show up for yourself every single day with self-discipline to bring you to that next level. So I want to talk about a little example, and thank you for showing up, Marissa. I want to talk about a little example here. Maybe you've heard of it. It's Pavlov's experiment, where he brings a dog into the room. And at first, my dog does this too, so maybe your dog does it too. But at first, the dog sits down and he gets ready to feed him a meal. And in that moment, the dog starts drooling. Then the next example is he brings that dog into the room to feed him dinner, but there's no dinner on the table. All he does is he rings a bell, and the dog doesn't drool. But what he's trying to make happen is that the dog will drool when he rings the bell. And just stay with me here, because I know this is a little bit left field, but we're going to get there. So then in the third example, Pavlov sets the dog food down and then rings the bell, and the dog starts drooling. Well, the question is he drooling because there's food, or is he drooling because the bell rang? Probably because there's food, right? But in the fourth example, Pavlov rings the bell and there's no dog food, and the dog starts drooling. So you can prove that you can be trained. And I'm not saying you're a dog, but what I am saying is that we've been trained to focus on other people's opinions. We've been focused to believe what other people are telling us. We've been focused on listening so much to what social media has to say to us that we're confused and we're lost, and we're not necessarily going in the right direction. That's why we need to focus on implementing positive success habits, implementing self-discipline. Don't let other people distract you. Do not let other people tell you how to live your life. When you think about social media, have you ever thought that maybe we've kind of been trained in a way that the people who created social media want us to spend more time on it? Because if you have not, you're mistaken. I've read studies that show that social media, particularly Instagram and Facebook, which is owned by the same company, that's their whole goal, is to keep you on their platform longer. And I guarantee you, TikTok and Twitter are the same way. They're trying to keep you on their platform longer. So don't let other people dictate how you live your life. If you don't want to spend on average 144 minutes on social media, you're in charge of that decision. I know for me, I've spent a lot of time on social media, especially as I'm growing my company. I've spent more time on it than I want to, and I've spent more time on it than I want to admit. But I do have one rule in place right now that keeps me disciplined with social media. And that's, I don't use my cell phone in bed. I don't like to use it at night, and I don't like to use it in the morning. If I'm laying in bed, I try not to bring it into the bedroom. It is my alarm, I will say that, but I don't like to actively scroll while I'm in my bedroom. I will be honest, I have fallen off of this a little bit through quarantine, but I told myself today that by implementing self-discipline, I won't let that happen. So this morning I didn't scroll social media in bed, and I'm telling myself tonight I will not do that again. I will be adding it to my habit tracker because I want to make sure that I'm holding myself accountable. And again, what gets measured gets managed. And so when I can see if I'm achieving my goal, I'm more likely to sustain that goal. So I'm going to change that bad habit. I'm going to implement a new habit. I'm just changing it, right? I'm not saying I'm not going to go on social media, because cutting something out is really difficult. But when I'm just changing my habit, it gets better. It gets easier over time, because implementing a new goal, implementing new habits does take time. If I said, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll get to it on Monday, and I procrastinate and I hesitate on that goal, I probably won't achieve it. So I have to say, I'm going to do this right now. And I have to measure how I'm going to make that happen. I have to identify what my distractions are. And like I said, for me, that's my phone. But my question is, do you know what your distractions are? So I have a quote that I really liked. It's in regards to self-discipline. It says, one of the most important keys to success is having the discipline to do what you know you should do, even when you don't feel like doing it. And I think a primary example of that is going to the gym, right? or working out in general. Most people don't want to do that. But when we're showing up and we're training and we're telling ourselves we're going to take 30 minutes at minimum, or maybe 1 hour, at however long you want to go, and you're saying, I will do this, I must do this, right? You don't get your shoulds, you don't get your I feel likes, you get your musts in life. I am showing up to work out. I am showing up to move my body because I know that this is important to me. I know that this is important for my life. I know that having a healthy body is important. So having the discipline to move my body, having the discipline to drink the water, and having the discipline to eat healthy foods is important. I have to train my brain and my body to want to succeed in positive success habits. I have to have a plan. I have to work my plan, and I have to celebrate my plan, because if I'm not celebrating my plan, if I'm not celebrating my successes when I get there, I'm not training my brain to tell me that this is a good feeling. I want to make other people ask, how did you lose the weight? How are you able to do the splits? How are you able to run a marathon? How can you write a book? Because at the end of the day, we all have the same amount of time. It's how we spend our time. It's how we make each moment matter. That's how you can be proud of your answer. You can be proud of it through self-discipline. One second here. Checking my notes. Okay, so you have to work hard. And when you work hard, you will accomplish your goals and dreams. 100%, especially when you are celebrating your goals and dreams. Do you think that Martin Luther King, his I Have a Dream speech would be so impactful if he didn't actually have a dream and have a passion to make a movement and to make a difference? Do you think that Walt Disney would have created Disneyland and made that a reality if he didn't have a dream, if he didn't want to take action on his plans? Do you think Elon Musk would be building rocket ships if he didn't pursue his dreams? These people will forever be remembered because of their goals and their dreams. And at the end of the day, their self-discipline. Maybe you don't want to be remembered in history, and that's totally okay. There's 400 trillion people. The odds of you being born is 1 in 400 trillion. Obviously, we go through a lot of people, right? You don't have to want to be remembered in history. But what you definitely do not want is to be lying on your deathbed with regrets. Show up with yourself. Show up for yourself every single day. Try to be a little bit better than you were yesterday in achieving your goals and dreams, because we only have one life, and make every moment matter. Self-discipline does consist of 3 S's, in my opinion. That's struggle, sacrifice, and success. You'll have to give up the late nights to wake up early. You'll have to find your why and your core purpose. You'll have to find the effort to put in the work to show up and be better than you were yesterday. And ultimately, you have to want it more than anybody else. I heard this quote recently, and it said, "Never wish life were easier, wish that you were better." Life's not easy. We all know that. Life's tough. We have to work hard to achieve our goals and dreams. You can't always play it safe when you want to be better than you were yesterday. Don't hold yourself back. Lean into your fears. Take that jump, take that leap, and bring yourself to the next level through self-discipline. Because our minds are designed to protect us from things that might hurt us. We have an old brain, right? Like we were we've lived with this same brain for so long, but we've got so much more technology now, and we're trying to be better than we were yesterday, and change is absolutely scary. So making that conscious effort to choose to do something different, to change your environment, can be intimidating. But you have two choices. When you choose self-discipline, you can either choose it for now or choose it for later. You can either decide that you're going to make a conscious effort and do something different, or you can procrastinate and you can make that happen later, which we all know probably not going to happen. The choice is yours. You can't blame anybody else for your decisions. Discipline is the bridge between goals and dreams and accomplishment. If you're not putting in the effort, you won't get to your accomplishments. We talked a little bit yesterday about how discipline has a bad reputation or a bad connotation through school and parenting and things like that. So I won't dive into it right now, but I do want you to remember to stay hungry, to keep growing, to show up for yourself, and know that change is not a bad thing. Change doesn't have to be scary. You can achieve your goals and dreams, but it starts within. It starts with who you are and what your purpose is. And that's what you have to focus on to find what you want to do in your lifetime. And it probably won't be easy, but it will absolutely be worth it. Focus on what you want and don't give up until you get there. So you probably have seen behind me here this little chart I have. So this little chart here for self-discipline. Hopefully you can read all of it. But start small, stay consistent, have a plan, work your plan, and reward yourself when you get to that next level. If you want to change your story, you have to change your actions. Don't go in and try and change all your actions at once, because that's going to be difficult. You're going to fail and you're going to let yourself down, and you don't want that. You want to see yourself succeed, right? So embrace the discomfort. Bring yourself to that next level and grow who you are as a person. Maybe that means that you start to meditate. Maybe that means you start to eat healthy foods. Maybe that means you go to the gym, take cold showers, do something that changes your current habits to make you a little bit better than you were yesterday. Apply your energy every single day to be a little bit better, because what you're focusing on is what you want. If you're focusing on what you don't want, that will happen. A good example of that is when you're snowboarding or when you're riding a bike. We'll stick with the snowboarding. So a good example of that when you're snowboarding is if you're going down the mountain and you see a tree coming, don't look at the tree, because if you look that way, you're going to start going that way and you might run into the tree. But if you're focused on trying to go down the mountain, you're going to make it down the mountain just fine, because what you focus on is where you're headed. What you're feeding your mind is what you're going to receive. So really quickly, because we're going to run out of time, is self-discipline. Identify your weakness. What area do you want to grow in? What area do you need to show up for yourself most? Where do you see yourself lacking and wanting to be better than you were yesterday? Write it down. That'll be really helpful to take you to that next level. Number 2, daily goal setting. Set a goal. Back into your goal by implementing small habit changes. Don't try to eliminate something. If you are currently drinking 3 sodas a day, knock it back to 2 sodas a day. So that way you can make that small change. And once you get really good at implementing that, knock it back to 1 and replace that with water. Replace that with something a little bit better for you and see how you can start being better in that aspect. Number 3, work hard or hard work. Work hard every day to not let yourself down. A good way to do this is set an alarm. Try to change your habits. So if you're thinking every day at 12:34 that you're just in a slump and you're not achieving the goals that you want to achieve, set an alarm and tell yourself, trick your brain into doing something different. If you're checking email 8 hours a day, only check it in the morning, only check it in the night. Set an alarm and tell yourself when you're allowed to do that. Just like Pavlov's bell, right? Tell yourself when you can do something that you want to do. Number 4, and I'm going through these kind of quickly because we are going to run out of time, but number 4 is courage. Believe in yourself. Find people who believe in you. Did you know that you are like the 5 people you surround yourself with most? Make sure the people you are surrounding yourself with provide you with courage, provide you with inspiration, want to see you become the best version of yourself. Number 5, celebration. We've talked about this a lot. Give yourself grace. Make sure that you are allowing yourself this opportunity to be excited when you achieve your goals. Don't just rush through them. Number 6, positive success habits. The title of our training, we're trying to implement small changes to be better than we were yesterday. Determine your why. Find your mission, find your passion, understand who you are at your core, and do everything you can to achieve your goals and dreams. Number 7, continuous learning. If you're not growing, you're dying. This is one of the favorite quotes I've ever heard. I don't remember who said it. I just remember it sticking with me. And if you think about this analogy in terms of a plant, a small, like a house plant, if that plant isn't being watered and nourished every single day or however often it needs that, it's not going to grow. It's going to die. You have to nourish your body. You have to nourish yourself as a person, and you have to grow. A good way to help implement discipline is Stanford University actually did a study in 2013 that said meditation will help with discipline. And I know I'm not very good at this, but I do want to throw that out there and say that maybe that could be a helpful resource for you. There's guided practices online, and you can learn how to focus on meditating and find how that self-development skill will bring you self-discipline. And it would be a learning opportunity, right? If you're not currently doing that, you can learn how to meditate. And number 8 is persistence. And like I've said, is don't break promises to yourself. One of my mantras is, I do not break promises to myself. So at the end of the day, you need a plan in place. You need a place that you can implement these changes. You need a place where you can change your small habits and tweak them to be more positive success habits in your life. Change your behavior through changing your environment. It's all too easy to say, I'll work out later, but you'll never do it. It's all too easy to say that I want to get a new job. But if you're not taking the next step to take you to that next level, it's not going to happen. Because at the end of the day, you're in charge of your own goals and dreams. You're in charge of the actions that you decide to take. Every decision you make is your choice. You cannot blame your parents. You cannot blame your friends. You cannot blame your spouse. You cannot blame anybody but yourself. So I encourage you to track your habits, track your routines, and don't break promises to yourself, because if you're tired of starting over, stop stopping. Keep going. Know that you can achieve your goals and dreams. You have to work hard at them every single day. I have more I could talk about, but tomorrow we'll talk about courage. I'm gonna end on that note with self-discipline. Keep showing up for yourself. Check the Facebook group for the homework tonight. If you're confused what the big three are, really quickly, I just want to let you know what that is. That's just, what are you going to achieve? What is your goal for that day? If you're planning on moving your body for 30 minutes, drinking X amount of ounces of water, and responding to all the emails in your inbox, that's perfect. And figure out what your big three are and move forward from there. Again, you're in charge of the decisions you make. I encourage you to fill out your habit tracker. I encourage you to show up tomorrow to talk about courage. And I encourage you to listen to someone who can help you implement positive success habits. Motivate yourself, hold yourself accountable, and really strive to have self-discipline to take you to that next level. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, guys.